Hello, friends. Good day. Arthur Miller had written this play. This is a play. The name of this play is Death of Salesman by Arthur Miller. So, this very devastating story, very sad story with a sad ending. Willie Luhmann, a traveling salesman, returns home to Brooklyn early from a sales trip. At the age of 63, he has lost his salary and is working only on commission, and on this trip has failed to sell anything. His son Biff, who has been laboring on farms and ranches throughout the West for more than a decade, has recently arrived home to figure out a new direction for his life. Willie thinks Biff has not lived up to his potential. But as Biff reveals to his younger brother, Happy, an assistant to the assistant buyer at departmental store, he feels more fulfilled by outdoor work than by his earlier attempts to work in an office. Alone in his kitchen, Willie remembers an earlier return from a business trip when Biff and Happy were young boy and looked up to him as hero. He contrasts himself and his sons with his next door neighbor Charlie, a successful businessman, and Charlie's son Bernard, a serious student. Charlie and Bernard, in his view, lack the natural charisma that the Luhmann man possesses, which Willie believes is the real determinant of success. But under the question of his wife, Linda, Willie admits that his commission from the trip was so small that they will hardly be able to pay all their bills, and that he is full of self-doubt. Even as Linda reassures him, he hears the laughter of the woman, his mistress in Boston. Charlie comes over to see if Willie is okay. While they are playing cards, Willie begins talking with the recently deceased figure of his brother, Ben, who left home at the age of 17 and made a diamond fortune in Africa and Alaska. Charlie offers Willie a job, but Willie refuses out of pride, even though he has been borrowing money from Charlie every week to cover household expenses. Full of regret, Willie compares himself to Ben and their equally adventurous, mysterious father, who abandoned them when they were young. He wanders into his backyard trying to see the stars. Linda discusses Willie's deteriorating mental state with the boys. She reveals that he has tried to commit suicide, both in a car crash and by inhaling gas through a rubber hose on the heater. Biff, chagrined, agrees to stay home and try to borrow money for his previous employer, Bill Oliver, in order to start a sporting goods business with Happy, which will please their father. Willie is thrilled about his idea and gives Biff some conflicting, incoherent advice about how to ask for the loan. The next morning, at Linda's urging, Willie goes to his boss, Howard Wagner, and asks for a job in New York office close to home. Though Willie has been with the company longer than Howard has been alive, Howard refuses Willie's request. Willie continues to beg Howard with increasing urgency until Howard suspends Willie from work. Willie, humiliated, goes to borrow money from Charlie at his office. There he encounters Bernard, who is now a successful lawyer, while the greatest thing Willie's son Biff ever achieved was playing high school football. Biff and Happy have made arrangements to meet Willie for dinner at Frank's Chop House. Before Willie arrives, Biff confesses to Happy that Oliver gave him the cold shoulder and he tries to ask for the loan and he responds by stealing Oliver's pen. Happy advises him to lie to Willie in order to keep his hope alive. Willie sits down at the table and immediately confesses that he has been fired. So Biff had better give him some good news to bring home to Linda. Biff and Willie argue as distressing memories from the past overwhelm Willie. Willie staggers to the washroom and recalls the ends of Biff's high school career. So, when Biff failed a math course and went to Boston in order to tell his father, he found Willie in a hotel room with a woman and became so disillusioned about his former hero that he abandoned his dream for college and following in Willie's footsteps. As Willie is lost in this reverie, Biff and Happy leave the restaurant with two call girls. When Biff and Happy returns home, Linda is furious at them for abandoning their father. Biff, ashamed of his behavior, finds Willie in the backyard. He's trying to plant seed in the middle of the night and conversing with the ghost of his brother Ben about a plan to leave his family with $2,000 in life insurance money. Biff announces that he's finally going to be true to himself, that neither he nor Willie will ever be great men, and that Willie should accept this and give up his distorted version of American dream. Biff is moved to tears at the end of this argument, which deepens Willie's resolve to kill himself out of love of his son and family. He drives away to his death. Only his family, Charlie and Bernard, attend Willie's funeral. Biff is adamant that Willie died for nothing, while Charlie elegizes Willie as salesman who by necessity had nothing to trade on but his dream. Linda says goodbye to Willie, telling him that the house has been paid off, that they are finally free of their obligation, but now there will be nobody to live in it. So, this is the story of the death of Salesman by Arthur Miller. So, Arthur Miller, born in a middle-class Jewish family in Manhattan. So, he was a successful writer. He had written many plays, The Man Who Had All the Luck, All My Sons, The Crucible. So he died in 2005. So this is the story of the death of a salesman by Arthur Miller. It is written in 1948, Death of Salesman, Roxbury, Connecticut. Written, Broadway premiere was February 10, 1914. The play was published in 1949. And literary period was social realism, a dramatic stage play. And climax of this play is Biff's speech to Willie at the end of Act 2. Antagonist, Howard Wagner, the American dream that allow Willie and his sons to delude themselves. So, death of a salesman, death of a Simpson, Willie Gard, overweight family. Willie Luman has been the genius, not only live-action domestic sitcom like All in the Family, but also both of them have made knowing reference to death of Salesman in various episodes in these two play, The Family Guy. So this is the story of the death of Salesman. It is a very deterministic play which tells us about how one cannot move out of his boundary and his limit. Thank you very much.